Hi, it's Andrea Gehrz, and I want to speak to a highly controversial topic um, that has come up over years and years and years as I've been working as an astrologer, and it especially came up when I was working at the Portland School of Astrology. The topic is astrology and gender. Um, Now, I had a lot of students in my classes who were gender fluid, multi-gendered, genderqueer, and we loved and celebrated this at the school, of course. And I have to tell you that I have my bachelor's degree in queer theory. I actually made a Bachelor of Individualized Studies, which was identity politics, queer theory, and family social science, I believe. That was 25 years ago. But at the time, we were learning all things about, gender as a performance. I studied Michel Foucault. We obviously learned that there's no binary, or there is a binary, but that is not the true gender. There might be chromosomally an XX and an XY, but there's also XYY, X broken X. So even chromosomally, there's not a binary. But obviously, from a gender expression standpoint, there's not a binary at all. So the reason this is controversial is because I would say that astrology knows more about gender than queer theory. So I would say that astrology assumes a cyclical, fluctuating gender in any human being. So, for instance, I'll use my own chart as an example, not because I'm a narcissist, but because I have permission to use my own chart. So, my chart is very feminine at the sixth degree, or very yin, and at the 14th degree, it's very yin as well. At my 28th degree, it's a total dude. Okay, I am really tough at the 28th degree. I can actually put on my 28th degree voice. Oh, hello, this is Andrea Gehrz. Like, I just go crazy at the 28th degree, being a total, like yang. I have a sun square Mars, sun sextile Saturn, sun conjunct Mercury and Scorpio. I'm just really tough at the 28th degree. But my Pisces moon is at the 14th degree, which is super sensitive, super snuggly, weeps a lot, plays the piano. And at the sixth degree, I have a Venus square Jupiter, which is also very soft and super sweet. And so you can hear my voice is kind of masculine or low or like raw. It's just kind of a low tone. And so my chart actually fluctuates by transit through three different parts of my personality: the fifth, sixth degree, the 14th degree, and the 28th degree. So now, from a multiple personalities perspective, I have three personalities in my chart. These are three aspects of personality. And you know how we've heard the term two spirit? I would actually go so far as to say I have a three spirit. I am a three spirit, two parts female, one part male. Okay. So when we use pronouns like they and we, I absolutely think that aligns perfectly with astrology because there are several aspects of personality in my person. We could say they, them because there's three aspects to my personality. So, you know, of course, many people think that I can't speak to this because I don't identify as genderqueer or what have you. I want to be clear that I do have a queer identity. I had girlfriends from the time I think my first girlfriend was when I was 18. I was gay all through my 20s, dated several trans guys. I finally started dating males. Well, I just met my baby daddy, and we had a baby, and I also find that I fit really well with males because I have such a sun square Mars that I'm really tough, and when I would date females, they would feel abused by me because I'm just really tough, and so my current boyfriend is a huge, huge tree looking man who can absorb my energy. Like when I get really tough, he's like, "Oh, cookie," but not or like, "Oh, cutie," like, but not in a demeaning way. But he doesn't feel there. My energy is not too big for him, so that's kind of why I arrived at men in my older age. But I loved my years dating females, and I have no problem coming out or saying anything about my history. Now, does this make me gender queer? I would say I I'm like a tough chick. I'm like a tomboy femme. When I was, dating, you know, ladies and trans men, I would say they would definitely call me a tomboy femme. I'm a femme. I have long hair and I wear earrings, and two parts of my chart are female, so I am femme. But I am a brutal, brutal femme. I'm just like I'm not your mother's femme. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's look at a different chart. I have a really good friend who is a fierce, fierce drummer. Um, we would say this is an XX chart, or XX genetics. Um, and they have a Sun Mars conjunction, which makes them fierce. And they have a Pisces moon. So then they're also super, well, if I was being real, they're kind of like mean. Like sometimes they're just like really like hold me like a baby, like I'm just a tiny baby. Like they're just really sensitive. And but then when they have transits to their Sun Mars are really fierce. They're covered in tattoos. I've actually timed them getting tattoos to their Sun Mars. Like they're covered in tattoos, super martial, and they're a Pisces moon. See how they are both true. It's actually, to say like that we transition from male to female or female to male is still binary. When we think of the chart astrologically, we can think of multiple parts of the personality existing in the same person and being expressed cyclically. So I get asked the question of, Andy, do you support sex reassignment surgery in teenagers? No, first of all, everyone to their own. I know this is a controversial topic. Why would I say anything? And though I only support surgery in any human about gender after they have learned their chart layer. Because oftentimes people transition or have surgeries under a transit, and then the other part of their chart comes up again. Like they might go through a hypermasculine transit, and then they have surgeries, and then they go into a hyper feminine transit with another part of their chart, and then they do, what do they call that when you go back? It's like sex, I can't remember, when they have surgeries and then they go back, or they transition and then they go back. Astrology understands that. We would understand that one part of the chart is super masculine and then another part is feminine, and they come out at different times depending on those moving hands of the clock, which the transits say, what time is it? It's like it's time for you to be yang, it's time for you to express masculinity, and later it will be time for you to express femininity. Now, why is it that not everyone transitions back, or some people are very happy with their gender reassignment, and that's true for the duration of their life? Well, some charts are not multi-gendered. Some charts you can be born in an XX chart or XX chromosome. Let me actually clarify that in development theory or manifestation theory, which astrology is, there are four influences on a growing creature. There's genetics, culture, climate, and the astrologic influences. So this is from Claudius Ptolemy in the Tetrabiblos. He kind of outlines these. So genetics, culture, climate, and astrology. My good friend Kenneth Miller taught me those. So I've used them forever. I'm so grateful. So anyway, the genetics would say that a person might be born with an XX seed or an XX chromosome, right? So we would say that let's say you are genetically born in an XX chromosome, and your chart is an XX is female, right? So it's like, so that would be a genetic female. Um, and let's say the chart was entirely male, masculine, or yang. Okay. So let's say it was 13 planets in Aries, and there was the moon in Aquarius, and the moon was opposed Mars or something. Okay, that's a super male chart. Like we don't get any femalism in that chart, any yin energy in that chart. Okay, well then they transition because they are actually spiritually male, which is awesome. Of course, I celebrate all genders. I'm never, like, I get critique for saying, you're trying to find gender in a chart, and that is wrong. I'm like, why would it be wrong to celebrate the chart layer of gender? We are celebrating all the genders. And in fact, queer theory isn't getting to the point of understanding that there are cyclical, fluctuating elements in gender. And so they just want everyone, they just want to allow all surgeries to happen. And then people go back and they have remorse. And like, I'm trying to fight the remorse part. Learn your chart first and then decide about surgery. If you realize your chart is both genders, literally, which is true, we can have multiple genders in one human. Two spirits are real. The chart acknowledges that. We would say one aspect of your personality, super masculine, the other, super feminine, or female or male or yin or yang, whatever non political terms you want to use. And though that is a two spirit, okay, astrology acknowledges a two spirit. It also acknowledges a one gendered spirit. Like I just said, you can have an XX chromosome with a totally male chart. And the same could be said of, let's say we had an XY chromosome person, which most of us don't even know our chromosomes because we're not tested, but let's say we had an XY person. Um, so that would be born genetically assigned male at birth, okay? And let's say the chart was entirely feminine. Let's think of an entirely feminine chart. The sun and moon in Pisces, Mars in Cancer, very weak Mars, or Mars in Taurus. Um, Now, weak is not bad in the person. It just means that Mars is not hyper expressing. So Mars can be kind of more what we consider culturally to be masculine. So yeah, Sun, Moon in Pisces, Mars in Cancer, um, Cancer rising. Okay, that's yin, 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 yin. Okay, so we get an XY chromosome and a yin, yin chart. Okay, so that person might transition to female. We'd say their spirit was female from birth, but they're going to transition their genetic plant into female. And sometimes Taylor, I'll just compare people to plants. It's not offensive. It's just we don't look at it personally. We just say like, oh, this plant is this plant type and it's female. Okay, it doesn't, we don't see that as a problem. Anyway, so the point is that that person would transition probably and feel great about it for the rest of their life. They don't ever have a masculine part of the spirit come up. I just want us to acknowledge that most charts are more complex than that. Okay? Like my chart is two parts yin and one part yang, and so I've found an identity that works, like tough chick, tough tomboy femme. My students call me Macho Man Andy Savage. Okay, I'm sorry, but Randy Savage is male, and he is my spirit animal. Okay, and the fact that I'm even standing up and like saying this controversial thing is very 28th degree of me, of just like, rah, I have an opinion about gender. And the reason I am speaking my truth about this is not because I think I know better, and though I want to prevent surgeries that traumatize a human. We don't want to have a surgery under a transit when another transit's going to come up and negate that surgery, because surgery is permanent. Okay, so we just want to make sure that we've studied the whole chart and we agree that our chart wants to transition or change or to have surgeries or what have you. Um, so yeah, I look forward to discussion. Please add to this discussion. Now, I will add one more thing. Okay, so you know how there's four influences on a growing creature: genetics, culture, climate, and the astrology. The culture and climate that we live in is very important as far as, cross-genderism, multigenderism, transgenderism. It's very important that we allow people to grow in a supportive environment for gender expression. Part of the reason this is a controversial topic is because our culture and climate is very judgmental of gender and binarily assigns genders at birth. And so that's the culture we're growing in. If we were growing in a culture that allowed for two spirit people to have two spirits from the time they're born, they probably wouldn't feel the need to surgically decide, right? So part of what I'm trying to do by explaining and elucidating the astrology layer is to change the culture and climate in which we are growing. I want everyone to understand gender astrologically because it allows us to have a multiplicitous, complex gender that doesn't necessarily match our genetic code at all. And the chart layer is burned in at birth by the sun, moon, and all the planets and gets in your chakras. It has nothing to do with that genetic layer. It has to do, it's, you could call it epigenetic. It sits upon the genes, it changes the genes. So, yeah, there could be babies of all biological sexes being burned in with charts of any gender and any sex, and it has nothing to do with, you know, I don't know. It just, you can absolutely have a chart that's a kind of different expression than the genetic expression, and that's very easy to understand. So I want to be clear that I am celebrating all genders. We are celebrating all genders. We love all genders. Like all genders under God's green earth. Like God made all the genders. Like all the genders are in all the charts. Like peace. Peace. I want to say peace for all genders. Peace, love, and joy for all genders. Okay? I want all genders to know their chart. I want all parents of all people exploring their gender to allow the chart into the equation. I want all people of all genders to be able to have access to their chart information. I want people of all genders to be able to access their chart before they make surgical decisions. I I want peace for all surgical decisions. I want peace for people's decisions. They know best for their chart. They know best. And astrologers can help in this equation. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day.